it's so easy to forget the good when the hard comes. I will be intentional to say, don't forget it. Don't forget it. Then the win stays the win. That even when the loss comes, there's still the wins on the board. They don't get erased the way, golly, that I used to erase them. What's up, everybody?
Hey, y'all.
Welcome to the Tug of More.
Man, we are thrilled that you're here hanging out with us. Second episode of 2025.
What's up, y'all? Yeah, it's a good year.
Man, we've been looking forward to getting back and hanging out with y'all, but we had a little delay in our shooting.
Yeah.
Because Whitney had a little bit of work done.
Oh, okay. That's not why. But it is true.
You would have not wanted to shoot
Oh, not yesterday. No way. Okay.
All right.
So I...
Tell them. Now, wait. Before I throw Whitney on the bus, Rachel did this thing first.
Yeah, which is good. I made her go first. I'm just kidding. But so I don't have any tattoos except...
Well, yeah.
I got a tattoo. I got my eyebrows tattooed, and then I got my lips tattooed, y'all. Come on. As a woman who is chasing more, stepping into all that God has for her.
Man, she really vision casted this.
This is how I vision casted to my husband. I have got to do all the things in my life that I can to simplify my routine. Steve Jobs, he wore the same outfit every day.
You're not doing that.
No, I ain't doing that. But if I don't have to do my eyelashes, I don't got to do my eyebrows, and I don't got to do my lips. Look how much time that saves me.
Rachel told me this same spiel. I don't know what Aaron's response was, but I guess it was this. Hey, baby, I love you. Do whatever you want.
Yeah, well, and
that was my...
As long as you're not going to look... As long as you promise you won't look crazy.
Oh, yeah. So Rachel went and got her lips tattooed, and she came home and looked crazy. I was like, please, God, tell me that's not what you're going to always look like.
Well, they swell up like that first day. I came to work like right after I did it yesterday because I was supposed to do it on a Friday, which is our day off, give it some time. But because we had a little ice event, which was not really a real one, they moved me to Monday. And so I was like, I'm going to go straight to work. I got a week ahead of me. And they were humongous. I kept saying I looked like Anna Nicole Smith. But today I got some blood work done and the nurse said, it's like your Betty Boop. It's like Betty Boop. And I was like, oh yeah, remember that cartoon Betty Boop?
Yeah, was the nurse 100 though?
She was older, yeah.
I was about to say, Betty
lady.
Boop is like black and white.
Yeah. But, so, I will say, it did hurt. And Rachel was honest with me about that beforehand. It hurt like a mug. Like, they don't numb it until they do the whole outline. And then they numb it. And I have tears running down my face. So, like, I think I can.
So, I've just got to make a public apology.
What is your public apology?
Men, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that your wives are now asking you for $300 to $800 to go and get their faces tattooed. I'm sorry. I tried, but lost.
Right.
I lost to my wife. I lost to my executive pastor. I lost. So you're now fighting a battle because I didn't hold the ground.
Okay.
So my bad.
Whatever.
You're
it's
just
ridiculous.
Just tell them yes.
Hey.
And they're only going to look crazy for about 18 hours.
And because like yesterday at the end of the day, Enrique said, oh, you're already starting to look more normal. More normal, not all the way normal. But then, January they had a special too. That's the other thing. I was saving money. So girl math, I was making money. Because if you think about how much I spend, then
Here we go.
how much I won't need to spend in lip liner, lip gloss, lipstick, even though I'll probably still put some on.
This is what I was about to say. You're still going to do it because you're going to be like, oh, I want this shade
yes,
today.
But this just gives me a baseline. It's a little bit darker right now still than it will be. And like, if you look real close, like these are purple from being bruised. It's a little purple.
Here's the thing that freaked me out is that this guy who does it, the tattoo man, is a tattoo man.
Well,
tats on his face. And I met the guy's wife.
Yeah.
And she has had every
all kinds of work done.
Procedure a woman can have. I
don't do Botox yet. I don't do filler yet. I don't do some of those things. And so I thought, you know what, this is like, and the older you get, like the more your lips do, like they get smaller and they disappear. And so I am coming of an older and a more mature age, and so I thought this might help me look a little younger without having to do filler, without having to do Botox, because even this one day I might have to. So
speaking of maturity and getting older.
Yes, it's your birthday.
Tomorrow
Mañana
is my birthday.
That's right.
43.
43.
Holy cannoli.
You're going to be 43?
Yeah, right, aren't I?
Yeah, that means I'm going to be 42. Dang.
Isn't that right?
Yeah, we're getting old.
I remember when 43 sounded like 100.
Yes,
I remember actively being like 23.
People in their 40s, they're old.
I remember when I turned 33 and made a big deal of it because I was the same age as when Jesus died.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wait a minute, I'm a decade older than Jesus. I've
just-
never walked on the water or
Yes.
multiplied the bread. What, man, I stink.
Oh no, it's a birthday. You got to celebrate. That's the thing. Doesn't matter how old you're getting. We're gonna celebrate because you're alive. You stayed alive for
Yeah.
a whole another year. You did good things. You accomplished great things, and you're maturing. Every birthday means that you grew some. You went from here to there at least a little bit that
That's
year.
true.
So it's a good celebration.
I've been trying to help Rachel rally me a good birthday gift, but I don't think it's
A
gonna.
good birthday gift.
Uh-huh.
But like you already know what you want.
Yeah. I'm not a very good. I am historically really bad at telling people what I want for my birthday
Yes.
because I don't know, or it's like
No, because
absurd.
we are the same because we're just gonna go get what we want.
Yeah, I'm gonna save or
gonna go
hustle
do it
to
for
go get it.
myself, yeah.
So I really need some new kitchen knives that like
Oh.
only I use. Rachel's not allowed to use them because she'd be
Yeah.
banging them around like
Put 'em in the
So I need
dishwasher.
some like manly. I'm a knife guy, and
Yeah.
I'm doing a lot of meal prep at home, and so I'm using these jank Sam's knives we bought 10 years ago, and so I want to buy some nice knives, and so I told Rachel, she's like, yes, I love that, it's a great idea, and so I told her to just tell people to give me gift cards to House of Blades in Fort Worth, but they don't sell gift cards.
House of Blades sells kitchen utensils.
Yeah. There's two House of Blades. There's the one in downtown in not Rodeo.
Fort Worth.
Yeah, Stockyards.
Oh.
Not that one. There's a great big one that looks like a log cabin. That's also in Fort Worth, but more like on the north side. And they have a whole side of cutlery,
Okay.
but they don't sell gift cards.
Well, then go different. Go Williams Sonoma. Go Crate and Barrel. Go places that also sell high end cutlery.
Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, how do you get a gift card there? So I don't know what I'm going to do.
You're not. See, this is why. Because you want what you want and you don't want anything else. That's the
No,
problem.
but I don't even know what they sell. It's not like I have a certain brand picked out. So if you are a knife connoisseur
Yeah.
in the kitchen, tell me what's a good
Yeah.
knife.
We just did this last year because we had some, I don't know, decent knives for a while, and we'd had them our whole marriage. And so for Father's Day last year, McKinley was very nice and spent too much money and bought Aaron a really nice set, which is the same as what you said. I'm extremely intimidated to even use them because one,
really?
I don't want to mess them up.
You got a whole eyelash on
I think
your
I
face.
could feel it. See, this is what happens.
See what I'm
Hard.
saying? I don't ever have an eyelash on my
dang
face.
it. Thanks
or
for
just falls
telling
in my
me.
beard and you don't see it.
But a real friend will tell you. That's another podcast. Anyway,
Every once in a while, I'm like, Whitney, you got lipstick on your teeth.
but now you won't have to do that.
Yeah, I will.
Okay. And so, she bought him a really nice set. Yeah, Williams Sonoma has every kind of high end.
Okay.
Like you could spend thousands of dollars.
I've never
to,
run
like,
around there and looked enough to know.
Yeah, they have everything.
All
so
right, Rachel.
I'm just saying, Williams Sonoma is a great place to get
Text
gift
Rachel
cards.
Williams Sonoma.
Yeah.
But can you buy a gift card online? That's the thing.
Yes,
It's just give me a
absolutely.
gift card.
Yes,
All right.
that's a
Williams
great
Sonoma.
one. That's a good one.
I desperately need some kitchen knives and like a better cutting board and all the
Yeah.
things.
And
So I
then-
can, meal prep for myself.
and then a
Hey, this is the other thing
sharpening-
about becoming 43 is you start asking for practical gifts.
Yeah, for
I
lame gifts.
remember when all I wanted was subwoofers for my truck. You know what I'm saying? What happened to that Truston?
Do you remember that?
That Truston was awesome.
The kids
Subs
these days,
in my truck.
they don't know about that. That
They
used to
don't.
be like a thing when you were hanging out with your friends. You would just go to like Best Buy or whatever and just
Yeah.
go check out
Yeah.
all of the.
Dude, just drive around town with the music so loud.
Yeah.
Listen to some Luda.
Oh yeah, we would cruise the strip, but then we would go to like places and be like, I'm gonna get this one. Like that was always
Yeah, you
cool.
walk around and go to Walmart and
Or if
look
you're
at
trying
their,
to impress a girl, you would like guys would take
Yeah.
me and be like, "This is what I'm about to put in my car."
Yeah,
I'm like,
look at this
"Oh,
this
okay."
head unit. It shows
Okay.
dolphins that are jumping in the background. I'm like, this one, it's $189. I'm gonna save up and get this.
Yes, it's so funny.
Now I'm like, I need some cutlery for my
Yes,
kitchen.
I need some cutlery. It is lame, but also it is what it is. So,
It's a new year.
New Year.
How you doing, y'all?
Yes.
Are you
Have you
feeling
kept
confident?
your New Year's resolution?
Did you keep your 2024 New Year's resolutions?
Yeah. And your 15 days, most likely about 15 days into this year, have you even kept the ones you started for this year?
My struggle with a New Year's resolution is that my birthday is on January 15th. So like today, as a staff, we all went to lunch.
Yeah.
So I get to pick. So we went to Rodeo Goat.
Come on, somebody.
You know what I didn't order? A salad. So like my dietary goals always start
February 1st.
Yeah. Well, this time like February or January 20th.
There
like,
you go. There you
we
go.
just get through my birthday.
The best part is now, because it's your birthday, we can decide when we do church fasts. Remember, for the first 10 years of our friendship, we were always just going to a smoothie place on your birthday because it would be the 21-day fast at the top of the year.
Yeah. Why do we do that? I mean, it's good. You should do it.
It's nice. People do it, I think, as a reset. But
you know who I wish we could do it as good as? Jensen.
Franklin?
Shout out to my boy Jensen, who's definitely not watching. But yeah, they do a big every year, do a big church-wide fast for 21 days.
It's cool.
And they preach on it for 3 weeks in a row, and it's like a big cultural piece of their church.
Yeah.
And
let's do it. Just let's not do it over your birthday because that's lame.
Yeah. But then when do you do it? It feels
know.
like January is kind of the...
You can do like a spring. I was reading this thing actually the other day that the fact that we do New Year's resolutions and all of that in January is actually wrong, that we should do it when spring starts because that is the natural cycle and the natural rhythm of life, and that it's something about the whoever, you'll know the right name, of the calendar, the like... whoever calendar that we once acquired back in the Mayan calendar that we acquired 100 years, a million years ago, whatever. They're the ones who set the calendar. But before that, people changed by seasons by the spring. So we should do spring.
Okay.
That's
spring.
what I think.
Hey, guys, do you know what I want from you for my birthday?
What?
If you're on the Tug team, here's what I want for my birthday. I want you to sign up and come to the More Church 5K.
We're having a More Church 5K.
You don't even know about it, but it's coming.
We haven't told anyone yet.
You do not need to buy me a Williams-Sonoma gift card. That was not a plug to try to get
it was
gifts.
Mostly a joke.
Please don't. Don't. That's not what I was doing. What I really want is I want you to plan to come and jog the 5K with us.
These people are actually finding out before the church. We're even announcing it at church. So that's amazing.
That's true.
And so we're going to do a 5K at the church that is going to be mapped out by some of our own people who are fitness gurus. And then we're going to run together or walk together or whatever. But now it's over 10 weeks away.
It's when? It's
March 29th.
March 29th. Put it in your calendars. That's what I want for my birthday. I want you to treat yourself. I do.
You can do
You got 10 weeks to prepare.
What's it called?
You do not have to run a good time. You just have to complete it.
Couch to 5K. Is that what that app was called?
Couch to 5K. Yeah.
Or whatever. You can do that by then be able to do it. So
just get up and go for a walk. I promise you can do it in under an hour. If you do it in under an hour, you should feel good about yourself.
Even if you're walking, you can do it under an hour.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay.
That's what I want. So I had to put that in, or people are going to be like, Pastor Truston's really trying to get money for those knives.
Oh.
No, that's not what I'm doing. What I want for my birthday is for you to treat yourself.
Treat yourself. Okay. We said it's your birthday. We said celebrate.
That's right.
And
we didn't talk about the sign almost fell off the front of the building.
oh my word.
Here's a picture. Dude,
or the video, whatever Julie wants to
what
put it.
in the world?
We got a phone call on the church phone.
From who?
We don't know.
A random stranger, a good Samaritan.
Who literally said, I don't know who y'all are.
I don't go to your church.
I don't go to y'all's church. I was just driving by and the R is falling off. We're about to be Mo Church because the R...
Mo Church.
The R of More was falling off the building. It was just a situational error.
So we called the company that installed it, and they came and they were like, oops, we forgot to put the bolts on the back or whatever.
I don't know what happened. Something happened.
And the whole thing was like, brrr,
it was literally hanging on by a thread.
Hanging by a moment. So you saw all my videos?
Yeah.
So I made a bunch of videos.
Like literally 25 videos.
20 of them of just the R falling off with a bunch of different songs.
Different songs.
I was laughing so hard because it was a snow day.
Yes. Yeah, you didn't have nothing else to do.
I was laughing so hard making those videos.
So
the R has been saved.
Thank God.
Okay, sorry.
Because that took us 6 weeks to get.
Longer than 6 weeks. It took us 15 years to get that sign.
From order placement to receiving. It was so we could have been Mo Church for like 6 weeks. That would have sucked. So
we've had so many first-time guests coming. It's crazy town.
When they installed the sign, our guy Jacob, who installed it,
What's up, Jacob? Sorry for teasing you for the R falling off.
It's okay. It's not his fault. You can't find good help these days.
Hey, yeah, he came and fixed it.
Yeah, he got here within an hour. It's crazy. But he said to us, businesses, when they put up their new sign, they have increased typically of 40%. Mm-hmm. And we were like, okay, cute. That's cute.
Good sales pitch, sign guy.
Great. Yeah, right. But no, we had more first-time guests this last Sunday than we had on Easter this past year. That's crazy.
Just because we bolted a sign on the front of the building. I was going to say,
we have a little thing that says, how did you hear about us? And almost all of them say, drove by and saw your new sign.
Yes, Lord.
So, shout out, if you were part of Bridging the Gap at our church and helping us get that new sign, thank you, because you helped us get this sign, which is helping more people identify this house, which is helping them step into the more that God has for them.
We stretched the banner as long as we could.
As long
we
as
had that
could.
banner up for 18 months.
Yes.
And then the city of Arlington was like, hey, guys, knock, knock, knock. We love y'all. We're having grace, but
it's time.
Pull your junk together.
Yeah, it's time now. So, yeah.
So we're still celebrating the banner, or we're still celebrating the sign.
We're celebrating it.
Which is kind of what we wanted to talk about today.
Yes.
Is just
celebrating
the wins that you have made.
Yeah.
So like a part of the struggle of having a new year is you start these New Year's resolutions and then you beat yourself up for not accomplishing what you wanted to last year. Like at last year, New Year's, I was like, I'm going to get down to 200 pounds. I didn't do it.
Yeah.
I didn't do it. But do you know something? 2025 Truston is in better shape than January 2024 Truston.
Right.
I'm in better shape. I've been very disciplined and consistent, and I feel healthier. So like, though I did not hit this numerical goal, man, I still won.
You're doing better than you think you are.
But do you know what we do is we beat ourselves up and we say, I didn't hit my goal.
Right. Right.
So we're talking about how we need to learn how to celebrate.
Yeah, to recognize that maybe I didn't get all the way to where I want to be yet, but I'm better than I was. I'm doing better. I'm better than I think I am. I think it's such a huge piece of continuing to step into more. If you don't stop to celebrate the wins of how far you've gotten, eventually you get defeated and it feels like maybe we suck. Maybe we should quit. And it's like, no, we're not quitting. We're saying we're doing better than we thought.
So let me just give you a pastoral word.
There you go, pastoral word.
You're doing better than you think you are.
It's true.
You're doing better than you think you are. Mm-hmm. Don't compare yourself to anybody. Comparison is the death of all joy.
It is.
You're doing, if you have listened to us joke around and talk about a church for 16 minutes and you're in enough relationship with us to care what we have to say,
right,
as like kind of spiritual leaders, you're doing better than you think you are.
You're doing better than you
think
you are.
So like, give yourself a hand, round of applause. Don't be too hard on yourselves.
Yeah.
Because if you're type A at all like me, you're probably pretty hard on yourself.
Yeah.
And we're really good at remembering all that we didn't get done instead of like looking backwards to remember all that's going right.
Right. And something I think you and I recognized in the last season where there was a lot that was struggle. There was a lot that we were trying to solve, a lot of problems we were trying to get to. We were trying to get a sign, like all these things that we hadn't yet checked off the box.
Yeah.
It was easy to get overwhelmed with the list that we had not yet checked. And we realized if we don't turn around and start looking at the wins, then we're missing the whole point. And we'll just start checking stuff off and we'll never be satisfied.
Right.
If we never celebrate, then we're never going to celebrate. And so something we started saying to each other was make it bigger than it is.
Yeah.
And I think that is something that people like us don't do.
Make the win.
Make the win. Yes.
Because we already make
really
the
good.
losses bigger than they need to be.
Yes, we are good at making the loss or the fail or whatever bigger than it should be. But instead make the win bigger than it even is. And like pay attention to it and like celebrate it and then actually share it. Like something we do as a staff that I love is sharing testimonies, wins, stories of good things that are happening because we can't all see it all.
Yeah.
But sharing it out loud, one, gets us proclaiming it with our mouth, but then gets us sharing it with each other that then allows it to make it bigger than it is.
We were doing the Christmas parade this year. And we're walking along in the Christmas parade and kind of waving to everybody, which we talked about on here a couple episodes ago. And I look over and Whitney is kind of like getting all emotional.
Very emotional.
Which is, proud of you.
Yes.
Because Whitney used to stuff her feelings and like you would never see her cry.
That's true.
But now healthy version of Whitney.
I'm working on
your emotions are allowed to be presented.
Yeah.
Right. And so she was not like crying, but like
I was just like, look at it.
And she kept turning around and looking at all the people and she kept telling me, turn around, look. Because what a beautiful representation of our church in the city. 200 people.
Oh, it was crazy.
Laughing and jumping and dancing
joking,
and
having
smiling.
a ton of fun. I think that was the huge win of it all was like, we did not force these people to come. They were excited to show up. They came, they bought lights and, blingy whatever to like make themselves stand out because it's at night and it's a light parade. And like, they're having so much fun. And as we're walking, there's like 4 or 5 different spots throughout the parade where there's like a announcer person and like a little stage, and they say like who's up next. And every time they would get to us, they would say, wow, this is the loudest, biggest group that we have in the parade. And they would all make comments about how much fun we were, how joyful we were, the energy we were bringing. And it's like, that's the whole thing we're trying to do. That's what we are trying to accomplish. And it's easy to get, especially at Christmas time, to get stuck in the list of to-dos. In the next day was Jingle Jam. The next week after that was our Christmas cookie craze. Like, it's easy to get caught up in all of that and what we need to do and what's going right or wrong or how do we fix it and all, and not stop and go, wait, look at this giant win happening right now. And if we don't stop right this minute, the next few weeks are going to be so busy, we won't do it. And so it's like I had this overwhelming feeling, and then also the overwhelming feeling of like, we're still here. Like, we've talked about it very openly and vulnerably. Tug of More, that like the last couple of years have been tough, and like we've had to struggle through, like, I will not quit, I will keep going, and like, no, devil, shut up, you're not going to get the best of me. And I just kept saying, like, we did it, we're here, we made it. Like, not in a, look, I'll get emotional right now, not in a like we really were going to quit, but like, this is such a beautiful moment that I really couldn't see a year ago. I couldn't
know
see
if it would come.
I didn't know if it, I didn't know. And honestly, I wouldn't had this exact moment happened a year ago, I wouldn't have seen it with the same eyes. And so I'm doing better than I think I am in starting to celebrate. So go ahead and stop and make it a bigger deal than it is and celebrate this moment.
Make it a bigger deal than it is.
Yeah.
You're probably doing better than you think you are.
Yeah.
Now, none of the listeners probably get to schedule 200 people to be in a parade and wear their t-shirt brand.
It's actually like a very, it's very.
So what are some like practical things that we need to look up and see and celebrate?
Yeah.
Like, what are we talking about? We're talking about like, yay, a sign. Okay. Yay, a parade. But for like just life, where are some places that you have like, just
celebrated. I mean, you said it about like our health. That is a huge one.
Okay, let's spend a little time on the list.
Okay.
So like on your health, maybe you wanted to lose 30 pounds. And so last year you didn't do that. But if last year you just didn't gain any more weight,
that's already a win.
That's a win. I gained 5 to 7 pounds every year for the last decade. And so the 4 years ago when I started my health journey, you know what I did for a while? I just didn't gain any more. And like that, back then I didn't call it a win.
Right.
And I would get up in the morning and I would say, get up, fat boy.
Yeah.
Go to the gym, fat boy. It's what I would say to myself. It's the opposite of, hey, man, you did good today.
Right.
So like now that I'm trying to prep for this 5K, today I ran 3 miles and it was slow, bro. It was so slow, but I had to tell myself afterwards, I did it.
Yeah.
I accomplished it.
Quit.
Good job.
Didn't stop.
Make it a bigger deal than it is.
Yeah, I think as it relates to health too, like we are really good at attaching a number, whether it's a weight or whether it's a clothing size. I have spent time in my life being obsessed with a certain number on a tag
that's
of
a girl
clothes.
thing more than a guy thing.
That's a girl
probably.
thing. Yeah, it's a girl thing for sure. But rather than doing that, celebrating how I feel in my own skin, celebrating how I feel when I wake up versus how I used to feel when I wake up.
Yeah, or, my knees aren't achy anymore.
Yeah, or when I go to bed at night, that I still feel energized, but yet I'm not passed out at 8 o'clock on the couch, you know? And I think just celebrating some of those moments, and what you said is great. I may not have gone to the gym 5 days a week, every single week, but I went way more last year than I'd ever gone before.
Yeah. If the year before you went 10 times, and last year you went 75 times.
Right. Exactly.
Celebrate. You're doing better than you think.
You're doing better than you think you are. And so I read a thing the other day that like in your 40s, if you are, yeah, continuing to like chase your health and your fitness and all this, you're doing better than 25%. You are in the top 25%. You're doing better than 75% of the people.
Yeah.
And I had to look at that and go, oh, okay, if I'm still trying, and then it said in your 50s, if you're even just trying to grow, just even trying to change, you're in the top 1%. Because a lot of us at a certain point in our life, when it comes to our physical health, we just kind of go, this is what it is. It's hard. And so I think for us, the huge win is just like, yeah, we're in our 40s. Things don't work the same way they used to, but I'm going to be better in my 40s than I even was in my 30s.
True.
And so that's making it a bigger deal. Again, we're spending a lot of time even just right now talking about it, but I'm making it a bigger deal because that's going to give me the encouragement to keep going.
Yeah. Okay. In our health. I think in our finances is one of those areas that it can be easy to look at where we aren't. Like for Rachel and I, we're in a really tight season.
Yeah.
Rachel is staying home with the kids. I am not bringing in any extra income. Like I used to buy and sell cars, and I feel like the Lord told me to stop doing that.
Yeah, yeah.
I used to travel and preach. I mean, enough that it made a big financial difference for us yearly that I've stopped doing completely. And I mean, that $15,000 to $20,000 extra a year is a big deal.
Right.
And so it's easy to beat ourselves up. And Rachel and I were just talking about this. But do you know what we're not doing anymore? Overdrafting every month.
Right.
We're not bringing in the same money that we used to, but I'm not as unorganized in my finances as I used to.
Right.
And we're not just spending haphazardly. And so like the celebration, it's easy to get bummed out that like at the end of the month, you're broke.
Yeah.
It's easy to get to the end and be like, seriously?
Right.
I should be farther along than what I am.
Yeah.
But when you look at the reality of what the situation of everything that you said yes to, then celebrate, man, I might be doing better than I think that I am.
It's really good.
Because if I was making the same amount of money I'm now, but still spending how I used to be, bro, I'd straight got foreclosed on my house.
Right. I'd be in trouble. Right.
Yeah.
We, Aaron works for the city of Fort Worth, so they are very structured. Their HR is very structured, all of these things. And so the top of the year, he always gets all kind of information for, you know, like your life insurance and your this and your that. And so he got something in the mail actually that we looked at just a week or so ago, and he's been there 15 years, and it listed out for 15 years, every promotion, every increase, and we looked at the bottom. And then we looked at the top, like when he got there in 2009, and then we looked at, and it's easy what you just said to go, oh, we're not doing as good as this person or that person or this person or this thing or what I hope for
but
here.
You see how far you've came.
But when you look at how far you come, we were just kind of overwhelmed with like, oh,
thank you,
God, clearly you have taken care of us when we didn't even realize, like we couldn't have done that for ourselves. You did it. And took a moment to like, because we've been so intentional as lately, be like, let's just celebrate this for a minute. This is a big deal. Like God has taken us in 15 years further than we could see for ourselves 15 years ago. And sometimes we just have to give ourselves that moment to, it's not pride. I think that's one piece for like believers and Christians that we like get kind of like, I don't want to be prideful. No. You're just celebrating how far you've come. You're celebrating that God is a faithful God and he's taking care of us. And what you said, and we're wiser than we used to be.
Yeah.
Because man, I've shared it a bunch. I've been super frivolous in my life with spending, also from a default of not having as much when I was young. And I had to realize like, wait a minute, if I want to be blessed, then I have to steward what God is already giving me right now where I'm at. And so, celebrating how far we've come in our finances, that's a big deal. Maybe you didn't get a raise the last couple of years, but what you said, you were able to pay off some debt. That's a huge piece. Maybe you haven't paid off the debt, but you got a raise. Like,
maybe you're the person that buys a new car every 3 years, but you've held on to that old one.
Come on.
That's a big deal, man.
It is.
And so like look back at where you've done good and tell yourself good job.
Yeah.
Because it's so easy to just not notice the growth and to not accept the kind of internal compliment.
Absolutely.
I'm not good at receiving external compliments.
No.
I'm even worse at giving myself internal compliments.
Right.
Okay, health, finances. I think marriage is a piece. Like,
huge.
How's your marriage doing? Me and Rachel argue still.
Right.
We don't agree on everything still.
Yes.
that is just a part of like me and any other human are going to have disagreements.
Absolutely.
But you know what? Our arguments are so much smaller than they used to be, and they're quicker resolved, and our communication is better.
Right. I was going to say, even your conflict, I imagine, is better than it used to be.
So much better. And it's like, it's easy to not look at how far we've come. And so like, instead of looking at your husband and saying what a bum he is, has he made any progress? Like, is he less of a bum?
Right.
Is your wife less of a whatever?
Well, when you think about it, like with your kids, when they're living with you, you're seeing them every single day, you don't notice necessarily that they've grown 3 inches until all of a sudden their pants are too short.
Right.
And sometimes in our life, we don't notice the growth that's happening, especially in those kind of relationships in our marriage that is every day, constant, right in our face, that I don't take the time to go, wait a minute. Literally, we used to argue about this, and that we've had a couple this year moments of like, how do you say it? I guess like every marriage has a not a constant argument, but like this is a similar
recurring struggle.
Recurring struggle. That's a good way to say it. And this year, I remember a couple of times where we would have these recurring struggles, and it's like, whoa, we handled that so much healthier than we did 5 years ago.
Right.
Like, we still are not agreeing all the way. We still are getting frustrated with each other, but whoa, it's better than. And I think it's the other piece. Somebody asked Aaron that not long ago at a coffee date, like, do y'all ever argue? I'm like, hello, any human who lives with anyone is going to argue. That's just life. But it's fewer and further between. And then I think the other piece is, for us, celebrating. I was really nervous about my kids getting older because our whole marriage, we've had kids. We had our son 1 week after our 1 year anniversary. And so basically, we've never been just the two of us for most of our marriage. And I was like, how's this going to go? And recognizing like, oh, we are great friends this year. Like, in this new season, we've been great friends to each other, not just partners in life, not just co-parents, not just, oh, but this is my friend. I love you. I enjoy being with you. And like, if I don't take the moment to celebrate that, then it's easy to just get back in a routine, in a rut that you don't even recognize. And so it's like, no, let's look at how far we've come.
Yeah. Parenting.
That's a great one.
You're probably doing a better job than you think you are. All kids have struggles.
Yep.
Your kid's struggle is not necessarily on something that you've done wrong. Kids have personalities.
Absolutely.
Kids have different maturity rates, all these different things. And like, you're probably doing better. Like, do you take your kid to church?
Right.
Like, are you intentional to get them up and wake them up and make them brush their teeth and put on a shirt and bring them to church 30 times a year? Like, out of 52 weeks.
Right.
If you bring them 30 times a year, dude, you're doing better than you think that you are.
Right. No, it's
like,
really
you're
good.
just getting the word of God in them. You're doing a good job. For me, I'm like, I could always take Lily on more daddy-daughter dates. Me and Titus could always spend more time racing RC cars or playing Legos. There's always more that we could do. But you know what? We've made some really solid memories together this year. Me and him have had some. I went and built a tree fort with him.
Yeah.
And like, is it the greatest tree fort you've ever seen? No. But it's a core memory in that little dude's life. I'm doing better than I think that I am.
Well, and for you, like we've talked about before, like the balance of work and family, like we've gotten so much better.
So much better.
In that it's like, wait, give myself the credit of maybe I wasn't, the best mom in this season, but now I am a really present mom in this season. Like, there's just small things. Give yourself the win. I remember I've shared when my son had his last car accident. In my brain, I thought, how you respond to this matters. How you respond to him is what he's going to remember someday when he's older. And I was able to, in real time, in that moment, say, oh my word, are you okay? Before I said what the junk happened.
What was the, in his Jetta.
Yeah, in his Jetta when he got in a wreck. And just that from the Whitney that I used to know was like a huge win for me that I've told it again and repeated it before because I'm like, number one, I hope other parents can do the same thing. But like, this is a big win from who I used to be.
Well, when Easton crashed your car, he ripped the bumper off in a parking lot. You had to be physically restrained.
That was like 6 years ago.
6 years ago. You physically
I was like,
restrained.
What happened? Let's go. And you're like, whoa.
Calm
Stop.
down.
Yeah, calm down before you go talk to him.
To now, water off a duck's back.
Yeah.
You're
Wait,
okay.
are you okay?
You're
Okay,
asking,
I'm coming to you. I'll meet you there.
Yeah.
And like the chill in me versus what used to be is a big deal, and something to stop and celebrate. Also to reinforce to myself, this is how I want to continue to be.
Yeah.
And I think that for all the pieces, for all the things we've covered already, that's part of why it's so important to make it a bigger deal than it is.
Okay, so the list could go on.
Yeah, for sure.
But you're probably doing a better job than you think you are.
Yeah.
I don't know if I should get into this.
What? I don't know where you're going.
Let me start here. Whitney is a better celebrator than I am.
Okay.
Naturally.
Naturally, yeah.
And like, I think I've even rubbed off on you in the wrong way over the years, because you used to be like a great celebrator and looking back and remembering and talking about the moments. And then I think, and I shouldn't just put it on me. It's been a hard thing.
I don't think that's,
but I think we both fell into a dip.
Yeah, I was gonna
me
say,
deeper than you.
Yeah, I
we
think
fell
it was
into
just
a
the
dip
situation. Yeah.
of like not looking back and,
Yeah,
and celebrating. Here's where I want to go. I am not sure that I learned how to communicate wins properly.
Yeah.
Like, I think for most of my life, I was around people that spoke much more about what wasn't going right.
Right.
Instead of celebrating what was going right.
Right.
And that default in me caused damage in myself and damage in my marriage.
Right.
Because I was so good at being this truth teller. I was so good at calling out what needed to be fixed.
Right.
Instead of having eyes to see what was positive.
Well,
and so like I would come home, and instead of seeing that Rachel had done all the laundry and got put away and folded my stuff and hung it in the closet for me, instead of seeing that, I only saw the dishes in the sink.
Right.
You know what I mean? And like I for so many years, I couldn't notice it right.
What is that saying? What we celebrate will be replicated. What we celebrate will be, it's something like that. What we celebrate becomes, and what's funny is what was celebrated was critique. And so because critique is what was celebrated as you're a better leader, you're a better person.
Right.
These people are lame and lazy because they don't critique. So you are sharper and better. That was what became the standard of what should be, rather than the balance of anything out of balance is abuse, And so like, or we can become abusive. And so like letting yourself again off the hook of, when that's reinforced in you, what's celebrated is what's reinforced in you. And so now recognizing that, it's like, okay, then I'm going to go celebrate the good rather than celebrate the critique. But I think it's a human nature of like, when we're young, what we see celebrated is what we want to mimic and what we want to duplicate. I don't remember the word. There's a phrase that's famous, but I don't remember what it is.
I wear this necklace.
Yeah.
And I'll have a charm on it in different seasons to help me just remember something. And the common one that I wear most of the time is it just has a rose on it. And it helps me remember to like slow down and smell the roses.
Yeah.
Like, look around at life. Don't be so busy and on mission that you walk past beautiful moments.
Yeah.
Which is kind of in alignment with what we're talking about.
Right.
But there was a season that I realized I am not good at encouraging.
Right.
I don't know how. And so Rachel and I went to, where's this place? James Avery, and bought a cheerleader megaphone charm.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like a cheerleader, like the big cone. And for a year of my life, I wore a cheerleader megaphone on my necklace.
Yeah.
And people would always go, "Are you a cheer dad?" They would ask me all these things. And I would go, yeah, I was just saying something stupid. Because I had to teach me how to be able to say good words.
You had to remind yourself.
I had to remind myself, hey, Truston, don't just punch down what isn't going well.
Right.
Tell Titus who he is, not what he's not doing right. Tell Rachel who you believe she can become, not the list she needs to accomplish.
Right.
Tell
and speak out.
Enrique what you see in him as a pastor, not just as an employee to accomplish tasks. And I'm telling you, it shifted something in me.
Yeah, you speak out. You used to say the phrase, you speak to things that aren't as though they are, and then they will become.
Yeah.
And we believed that for like
Faith.
for faith,
For church buildings.
Yeah, for all kind of for money to come in,
Yeah.
for the right people to walk through the door, all these pieces. But it's like, wait a minute. That is true in our in our personal life. And if we don't do that, then life and death is in the power of our tongue. Then instead we're speaking death.
Yeah.
And like if we don't recognize that we need to speak more life than critique, then yeah, it's inevitably people will rise to what you speak to. And so if you speak to who they are in positive and speak to who they are in the, I'm so glad for this, I'm so thankful for this, I see this in you, I see where you've come in this, that's what they're going to rise to. But if all you're doing is, hey, you screwed up here, hey, you screwed up there, then eventually they're like, yeah, I'm just a person who screws up. And recognizing, like, or even for ourselves, especially for ourselves, giving ourselves the grace to just, I think is it's something we're learning is such a huge piece. And like, it brings so much peace.
Yeah.
There's so much more chill and peace in my life than there was 3 years ago, simply from the idea of speaking and celebrating the good, the win of what's going well.
You're probably doing better than you think you are.
Yeah. It's good.
Take a minute and look at the fruit. What good is it to be a farmer if you never take a bite of the apples that you're growing?
Mm-hmm.
Like we were starting the series. We finished it a while ago called Devil versus Default.
Mm-hmm.
And like we were getting deep.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like we're doing work.
Yeah. Work.
And as you're doing work, that creates conflict in people in the church.
Yeah.
And there's certain people that don't want to hear it.
Yeah, for sure.
So they quit coming.
Right.
And I remember there's this couple in the church that I think they told you that throughout the series every week, I would carry a bucket out and I would talk about how we're lowering this bucket down into our heart and allowing the Holy Spirit to put things in the bucket that we'll pull up and deal with. And so there was one of those weeks I was kind of discouraged about something. I don't remember what I was discouraged with. And when he came and told me this.
It's Myra and Nathan. They won't mind saying who it is. Okay. Myra came up to me and she said, hey, this is making such a huge difference in our life and in our family that we've bought buckets and have put them on our mantle, each person representing their own, and are putting, as we're identifying defaults in our life, we're just writing it down and putting it in the bucket so that we can, that was the representation of submitting it to the Holy Spirit, to have him take it and deal with it for help us and help us heal and help us grow. And one, that was such a huge, the reason, I mean, I immediately came and was like, hey, hear this, because you're doing better than you think you are.
I remember you telling me that story and then you grabbing my wrist and saying, hey, and I said, like, that's great. Like, that's awesome. That was my response, you know? And when he grabbed my wrist and she was like, hey, did you hear what I just said?
Right.
It's really helping somebody.
Yeah. It's bigger than you think it is.
It's big, and
it's
I had to
changing
like
their family. It's changing their home. It's changing their marriage. It's changing their life. It's changing their lineage. And when you will take the moment to celebrate.
Yeah. But there's only one way to start to do that, and that's redefining the wins.
Right.
If you can redefine the win, then now you can start to celebrate other stuff. Because for so many years, and it was pushed into me in leadership training that a win is growth. A win is growth. And in the church, we were at this stagnant for the last 18 months.
Yeah.
Numerical stagnant. And like, it was funny because people would leave and new people would come.
Right.
And which in wild percentages.
Yeah.
But the number would just stay the same.
Yeah.
And in me, I'm just like, we're not winning. We're not winning. The number's not changing. The number's not changing. The number's not changing. But when you start to realize, when you shift the win, the win is not new butts and seats.
Right.
The win is real life-changing people. Because we stood up years ago and we said, we're not going to build the church. We're going to focus on building the people.
Right.
That's why we got hammers all over the place. For there's a lot of reasons we got hammers all over the place.
Right.
And I could really, and I had my friend grab my wrist and say, hey, dummy, did you hear what I just said?
Right.
This is a huge win that one person is taking our words to enough heart that it's on the mantle of their house.
Right.
It helped. And
what-
so, like,
yeah.
listen to the wins.
It's so good. So another way to like apply that, what you talked about at the beginning. So, okay, you didn't get to 200 pounds this year, but you are able to be on the floor with your kids easier.
For sure.
You are more, you're going to the chiropractor and the massage therapist
Yeah.
less.
Yeah.
Like, and then for me, like there are certain things I didn't yet achieve. However, yeah, I can cry at a parade now. Like I can be vulnerable about what I'm feeling in real time. That's negative, not only the positive, because for a long time, that's all I would do. We grew in our defaults, like not grew in our
Grew
defaults.
out of our
grew
defaults.
out of our defaults.
Yeah.
Grew in understanding and identifying our defaults in ways that, yeah, now you're being more intentional to be an encourager. We're being more intentional to take time to celebrate. And I think that, like what you said, we have to take the time. You're doing better than you think you are. But if you're not feeling it, then what win do you need to redefine? What win in your life are you not giving yourself credit for that you should?
Yeah.
It's important. What?
I don't know if they believe it yet. Like, if you're still here listening,
Yeah.
you've got to really look back and learn how to tell yourself you're doing a good job. I don't think it's just a man thing. I think
No.
that for so long we call ourselves loser
Yeah.
in so many areas that we don't even allow God to whisper in our ear that he's proud of how much progress we've made. And like, I had a guy in the church the other day grab me and confess some stuff that he went through when he was younger that's really created some defaults in him. And I was like, grabbed him and I was like, do you understand how big of a deal
Right.
what you just confessed to me is?
Right.
Do you understand how big of a deal it is? And like, don't just think that
Right.
leaving that friend group that was negatively influenced you, that's a big deal.
It's a big deal.
Like breaking up with that person that was leading you into nowhere, that's a big deal.
Right.
Like,
changing jobs that you knew this is a dead end thing and this is actually sending me in the trajectory of where I'm going. It might have felt like a step backwards, but it wasn't. It was a step forward. Like there are so many wins in our life each year that we have to go. And it's easy. I think what was tripping us up for a while, I think, is that we had this giant looming problem to solve. And we could not solve the problem. Try as hard as we could. We could not solve it. And it overshadowed every other win. And I know people on the tug team that are walking through some heavy things, that this year some hard junk went down, some things they didn't expect. But do not let that overshadow all of the other things that are going right, that are going well, that God has blessed you with, that you have fought for. Like, don't let it be bigger than it is, because you and I couldn't solve that problem on our own. Only God could. And then he did.
Yeah.
And now in my hindsight, I'm like, dang it, I wasted so much time being obsessed and worried over solving this issue that I didn't solve on my own anyway.
right. The proper community is a big deal.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because like Whitney shaking me to say, hey dude, this is a big deal, helped me to see it.
Yeah.
Me noticing Whitney emotional during the
Yeah.
parade and then the next day saying, hey friend, I'm proud of you.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm proud of you for letting that moment happen in you.
Yeah.
Like sometimes our self-awareness just is not there.
It's not enough.
And so we need like external awareness from somebody. So like, it's not bad for you to tell your friends how you've done something good and ask them to celebrate it with you.
Absolutely. If they can't celebrate something good in your life, they're not real friends anyway.
Dude.
That's a whole nother podcast.
This
but-
is, yeah. I've never met somebody as good at that as my mom.
Yeah.
My mom celebrates for other people,
Yeah.
even when she has been in lack,
Yeah. It's good.
better than anybody I've never, ever known.
Yeah.
And like, I see it in other people. I just saw it in Amy Chin.
Amy Chin, yeah,
I
that's
see
another
it in Elena. I
Yeah.
see it in these people that they're able to big celebrate for others. And like, those are the kind of friends that you need.
Right. Right. And the kind of friend you need to be.
Yeah.
And so, I think the blind spot of our own win is the hardest thing, because what you said, like that soundtrack in our head of I'm not good enough, I'm not smart enough, like, yeah, I'm still chunky, I'm still this. All of those things that's the soundtrack that enemy wants us to get stuck on. But having someone that can shake and go, nope, this is what's true. That's what's going to help us.
All right, we're almost done, I think.
Okay.
At my wedding, this is a long time ago, I had a friend who told me before the wedding, hey, you have to take mental snapshots of this day. Because they were like, or you're just going to go through your wedding and you're not going to remember any of it. And I didn't really do it.
You didn't? No.
I mean,
No,
kind of, but like I was an event guy. And,
Yeah, you were so in it.
But I'm still learning
Yeah, it's good.
to take snapshots. And like what you're saying is I now have the parade
Yeah.
as this
Yeah.
snapshot. I now have like Myra's bucket on her mantle as a snapshot.
Yeah.
Scott Butler has a tattoo on his arm of above all else. That's like a snapshot in me.
Yeah.
That like when I wonder if I'm doing a good job,
Yeah.
I remember the series I preached way back then shifted a dude.
Yeah.
And I've got 100 of those now.
Right.
And so for you guys, when me and Titus were building that tree fort, I took a snapshot
Yeah, it's good.
of like my 9-year-old son putting screws in a board into a tree on a sunny day and was like, Truston, remember this. Because when he's 15 and yelling, I hate you, or, you know, whatever
Yeah.
teenagers yell, or, you know, I have to remember I've done a good job here.
It's good.
Because, like, there's going to be a moment that I'm straight pissed off at that
Yeah.
dude. That he's driving me crazy.
Right.
He's yelling at me because this is what's going to happen.
Right.
He's going to grow some horns as a young man and want to buck heads with somebody. It's like, no,
Right.
I took Lillian to daddy-daughter date, and we're at a coffee shop, and she's eating avocado toast, and we're just talking, and we're laughing. And it's like, take the
Take this
snapshot
picture. Yeah.
to remind that, like, I'm
Yeah.
doing a good job.
Yeah. And like, you know me, I actually will take pictures of things just to remember and just to be able to bring, because that will elicit a memory in you. It will elicit emotion in you. And so if you have to do that for a while in order to then just be able to take the mental ones, do it.
Yeah.
There's nothing weird and wrong about that. Do what you have to do. Rachel and I started this thing. She started it. We went to a retreat together, and at this retreat, there were some people that shared testimonies and different things. And they were like, one of them is literally someone sharing words that came out of my mouth in a message a while ago. And we weren't even sitting by each other. We were at different tables. And she looks across the room and she's like, I'm getting emotional now. She's like, don't you forget it. Don't you forget it. She starts yelling at me. And then later, somebody else starts talking and is sharing something that she did, that she said, that affected their life. And I yelled across the room, don't you forget it. Don't you forget it. And it's been a thing that we started with each other, kind of a joke, but not, of like, God, it's so easy to forget. It's so easy to forget the good when the hard comes. It's so easy to forget that your kid is amazing when he's ticking you off and won't eat his broccoli. Like,
Right.
whatever. It's
Yeah.
so easy. But if I will be intentional to say, don't forget it. Don't forget it. Then the win stays the win. That even when the loss comes, there's still the wins on the board. They don't get erased the way, golly, that I used to erase them. Sorry, I got really emotional on it because I used to erase them because of the loss. I used to allow myself to go, well, this discounts
Yes.
that.
Yeah.
And no, stop it. Stop it. And if you can't get a friend in your life that will yell, don't you forget it, then you need to go to a new life group or try a new community, something, because you got to have those people that will, I mean, just the last couple weeks, there's been people speaking on stage that have been given different honoring moments. And like, we joke it back and forth to each other then, like, don't forget who you are, and don't forget the good of who God's created you to be, the gifts that are inside of you. And because the world's really good at trying to take them away. So that's all.
That was really powerful.
I'm sorry. I just got very emotional.
No, but
in
you
it.
don't need to be sorry.
Yeah, no,
you see
I
what I'm
know.
saying is like the healthier we become,
Yeah.
the more powerful we are.
Yeah.
And so Whitney's willingness to learn how to
Yeah.
cry
And talk
and
kind
not
of.
view it as weakness
Right.
or crazy
Yeah. Yeah.
creates power.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure. So it's good. We're doing
So
better.
good job.
Thanks. We're
You're
doing better than we
doing
think
better
we are.
than you think you are.
It's true.
We did More to the Story Sunday, where we had 4 people
Golly,
share their
yeah.
story. and it was a snapshot moment for me. And I said it's my favorite Sunday we've ever had.
Yeah.
Because it's just like, this is what we're doing now. Mm-hmm. This is beautiful. And
the baptism Sunday outside was this like moment of like, do you see this? Do you see?
We
people are standing in the freaking heat,
yeah.
in the sun.
Yeah. But instead of seeing that we didn't have enough tents,
right,
we saw the beauty of the day.
We literally, for our staff meeting, which would have normally been, let's list out what we need to do that we did wrong, said, we already know the problems. We already know what we need to solve for next time. All we're going to do is tell the good. And God, it was beautiful. We just hung a bunch of photos in the walls in our office area. Mm-hmm. And those snapshots, there's the photo of Sydney getting baptized. Yep.
On the land, on the 36 acres, mid-COVID.
In a horse trough.
In a horse trough. Under like police threat of arresting us if we keep meeting together. But that's a snapshot of look how beautiful this is. And that week was the same week that Michael Bennett and the Bennett family started coming because they heard us playing worship music. Then down the hall a little bit is a picture of Michael and Emerson in the back of a trailer celebrating, hanging out, doing sub and teardown together.
So good.
And it's like it's a snapshot of like
of the ripple.
Of the ripple.
It's really good.
And so to Julia, your team catching these photos.
Yeah, it's a big deal.
It's giving our church snapshots.
It is.
Of like
it's a big deal.
What God's doing.
So that the wins are solidified.
Because there's always more.
Right.
But like the thought of always more is sometimes a beatdown.
Right.
Like, dang it, dude.
Well,
always more?
You and I and Tim this week are going to take some time to look back.
Yeah.
And to celebrate.
For my birthday.
For your birthday. To write some stuff down, to remember. Yeah, there'll be some bad in there too, but mostly to remember the good and remember what God is doing. And I think that carving out time to intentionally do that is a big deal. And I think it's going to put new wind in our sails we don't even know yet because celebrating the wins is a big deal.
So guys, take a moment to just think about where you've already won, pat yourself on the back, and hear us tell you you're doing better than you think you are.
You're doing good.
All right. What else?
Right. No.
Do we need to announce anything?
I don't know what we announce. We're going to try really hard to start rolling these out every Thursday, right? Yeah. Because we've not been as consistent at the end of the year. So check every Thursday. Send us your messages, your questions, your feedback. And I don't know.
And if you think this content's good, share it.
Oh, yeah.
Like, don't just comment on it. Share it. Hit that share-o.
Share-o.
Send it to somebody.
Yeah.
And it's going to be good.
That's all. Love you guys.
Love you. See ya.